Chafing Armor Podcast, episode 124, Necropolis Now. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your host and lovable Dungeon Master, Michael Corley, and with me tonight on a special side quest is Riley. Riley, tell us who you will be playing.
Hi, I'm Riley, and I'm playing Athora Greyfield, a tiefling fighter.
Fantastic. And also with us tonight is Dare. Dare, tell us who you will be playing.
Howdy, y'all. I am Dare, and I am playing your favorite Paladin Cleric, Tix Birchmanson.
And when we last left our adventurers, they had survived an attack from a group of mercenaries who had been falsely given information to lead them to kill our band of adventurers. They had made their way to Kalimvor, where they'd encountered the Mind Flayer, who had tried to kill them on 2 separate occasions before now, only to find that he has successfully infected the Kraken of the Sand Swallow Seas with the Mind Flayer larva and is now under his command. He has given the ultimatum that the band of adventurers have 1 month to find and reconnect the true staff of Seraphim. Before that time ends, they must place the staff on the oldest tomb in Kalimvor. And the adventurers have broken apart with this time crunch in order to succeed in those goals. We will get to what the other adventurers are doing. But first, I want y'all to imagine a glow. A beautiful, wonderful glow in the workshop of Thackham Cragmane. And Cragmane presents to Tix, dun 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 dun, your new armor. What would you say?
I've been eagerly anticipating this. As I've become a paladin, it is time for me to take up the mantle of being at the forefront of all battles in the name of Garl Glittergold. And
you knew that Cragmane is a well-respected blacksmith and armorer. You knew that he is, and of course, you also saved his wife. I could not find his wife's name, so we are going to call her Aura, and she has always been Aura from this time forward. But I did have that their 2 children, Johanna and Ash, both of which are tiefling. Which he confided in you, Tix, is because he had done a deal with the demon Bane. And the other adventurers may touch on that, because some of the other adventurers may be going back to Zental Keep, where Bane may be found. So we'll get to that later. But now you are gazing upon this armor. It is a work of beauty. It is, of course, sized perfectly for a gnome, and it also, on the armor itself, in the chest, just to the where your heart would be, he has set a gold nugget. Now, this is not your gold nugget, but it is a gold nugget. And it actually can act as your holy symbol, even if you don't have yours with you.
Correct. Sounds good.
When you put the armor on, you feel energy flowing through you, and your connection with Garl Glittergold as a paladin is even strengthened. This is magical armor. Now, I cannot, unfortunately, tell you that it has a +1 to armor. However, you, while wearing this armor, and please make note of this, now have a +1 to all saving throws. The only thing that can stop that is if for any reason that gold nugget is removed. We'll stop that. Also, it has one other ability that I am going to not tell you about, and we will get to when it is appropriate. However, for the purposes of gameplay, it is magical armor and has all rights and abilities bestowed on it. It is a beautiful work of art.
Fantastic. You have done masterful work, as I would expect of someone of your ability, Master Blacksmith.
I thank you very kindly, good paladin, and I know that you will do great things with this, and I appreciate what you are doing. The sight of that terrible beast the other night has thrown our fine city of Kalimvor into terror, and I don't know what we're going to do.
We will do everything in our power by the grace of Garl Glittergold to bring to an end this squid's problems in this life. And I think we can trust, and have trusted so far, in where we have been led and what we have done. So you should have nothing to fear.
Thank you so much. And at that very moment, Athora, you feel something tug at the outer cloak of your equipment. And you see that it is the older of the two tiefling children, Johanna, is tugging at your sleeve, as you might say.
Hello, little one.
Hello? Do you think if I wanted to become a great warrior like you someday, I could?
Of course. If you train hard.
Oh, that's wonderful. I want to because I'm worried about my little brother.
And why is that?
I can't find him.
What?
And at that, you also see Cragbane look up and tilt his head and goes like, "Well, Ash is surely playing in the backyard." And all of you head back there, where there's a little rudimentary play place. You can tell that was built by this master blacksmith. It's actually quite adorable. And there is one notable thing, which is one of the slats in the back fence is missing.
Oh.
I think we have a quick moment to help you out, good blacksmith, so that we can go on our way, but we want to make sure that your children are okay. Let's head on out into the alley and find out where little Ash has disappeared to.
And you can see Cragmane going and finding his wife, Aura, and they're searching the house, of course. But unsurprisingly, they are not finding anything.
Tix is going to use his spot ability to look for tracks in the alley. And that is a 22.
Out of curiosity, since that is a wisdom bonus, tell the listener, what is your wisdom?
My wisdom is 16, which is a +3, and my spot bonus is 7. So I rolled a 15, and so a total of 22.
So you look into the alley, which is unsurprisingly, dirty and a little dingy and that sort of thing. And you can see where there is evidence of a child passing recently. What you don't see, interestingly, is you don't see evidence of anything else. You don't see evidence, and you think you're reading these right with that high roll. You think you see the footsteps or the little scuffs and such from those little feet of Ash, but not from a potential abductor.
So it looks like Ash has gone off on an adventure of his own. So I think we're going to have to go... How old is he?
Ash is young. He's about 5 years old.
So he may be getting himself in quite an adventure. Hopefully there's nothing untoward for him out here, but we still ought to go look for your son.
Fortunately, y'all were able to defeat the Hunger Ghost, which was Oliver Black Eyes, the Craxador bandit who had originally caused Athora's village to starve. And in just vengeance, you had used the Feast or Famine medallion on him, causing him to starve to death and become a hunger ghost, where he was obsessed with eating tieflings, which would be very bad for a young Ash. Fortunately, you have defeated that. And you begin to follow the trails, and I would like Athora, I would like you to use a diplomacy check for speaking to people in the village. Also, please remember that you have a relatively new item that you could use for charisma checks.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so diplomacy. That would be a 3.
So you're still learning how this ugly cloak works. You understand that you can use it to kind of almost fascinate people. They're so distracted by how ugly it is that they can't focus properly, and so they just sort of agree to anything. But you haven't quite got the hang of it yet, and they're just sort of dumbstruck when you flash it out, and you're like, "Excuse me," and they're just like, So you're not really getting anywhere that way. What about you, Tix?
Tix will use his diplomacy, which is another one of his best traits. So even with that, it's only an 18. So as he goes along, he's asking if anybody has seen little Ash and trying to keep them from staring at Athora.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen a smaller version of this tiefling running through the city on a little adventure? We want to make sure he doesn't get into trouble.
And Cragmane is well known in town. He's a respected businessman in town, and that they know who Ash is. And tieflings do suffer from prejudice, as we well know, but it doesn't seem to be quite as bad in Kalimvor as you've unfortunately found, Athora, is that every single town is different. Ranging from Zental Keep, which is horrible racism, to places that are more or less tolerant, which Kalimvor seems to be. And you are able to find some people, and this is the part that disturbs you. By the way, I just want to set the scene. This is a bright, sunny day, beautiful. You can see the sparkling sand swallow sea, as the ground lowers to the distance. And you can hear when people are talking to you, some of them are like, "Oh, yes, I saw the little tyke. He was heading that way." And some of them tell you that he was heading that way, and then some of them tell you that he was walking with a man. But they all point towards the east.
And so as soon as that is mentioned, Tix begins to collect a description of this man. What does the man look like?
It's weird. It's like they can't really describe him. I mean, they're like, "Oh, he's a man," and he's. I'm not really sure, and they can't describe him, and it actually, you could see the confusion on their face.
So Tix is immediately, of course, on high alert. Is going to cast guidance on Athora as we go forward to look for this little boy.
Mm-hmm. And tell the listener real quick what guidance does.
Guidance adds a +1 to any non-combat rolls. To
Perfect.
Saves or checks of any sort.
Perfect. So y'all continue to go east as you feel the warmth of Garo Glittergold fill you, Athora, and it feels more oppressive as you head in this direction. The buildings seem almost shabbier. And it's not that you're necessarily in a bad part of town. It's just like it doesn't feel good. It feels wrong as you keep making your way, and like a rat scurries across. And as you look down, and when you look back up, you'd almost swear that it's darker out now.
Even in the middle of the day.
Yes.
All right. So, do we need to do another spot check, or are his tracks still clear?
I would like you both to make a spot check, but for a different reason that I'm not going to tell you. Both of you would make a spot check, and please tell me what you get.
All right, Athora, you get a +1.
14.
14, okay.
And I get a 9. So I am upset and apparently not looking properly.
Okay, 14 and a 9. I want to make sure I hear those. So you keep making your way, and you finally come to a wall. You've gotten short hints, by the way, that Kalimvor has been increasing its defenses. There have been rumors of war in the distance, but this is not a wall to defend the city. This is a different wall. This wall looks very old. And it's got moss growing at random places, and the stone is crumbling in places, and there is a large iron gate that is closed, and there is a guard standing there.
And so I will go up to the guard and greet him in the name of Garl Glittergold and ask if he has seen a man walking along with a small tiefling child. Do I need to roll diplomacy?
Yes, please.
Okay. That is a 21.
21. He looks up at you, and he has a very hollow look to his face, and he says, "There's nobody here like that."
Is there anybody here? And I'm going to go switch to intimidation.
Okay.
And that, ooh, beautiful, is a 24. 23. Okay. 23.
Tix, what is your armor class?
My current armor class is now 21. It's 3 better than the
studded leather.
Studded leather.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. That is very fortuitous. Athora, you see this happen in a flash. As often happens with these things, speaking is not an action as long as it's relatively short. When you say, "Is anyone in there?" he laughs. And it is a deeply unpleasant laugh. He says, "Well, there's people in there."
"And there's no one in there."
And he levels his spear and drives it into your chest. And it is so stunning that you are not able to react. But you're new and powerful. Did you decide on scale?
Splint mail.
Splint mail, thank you. Your splint mail, that interlocking splint mail, defeats this, and you know that studded leather, it would have burst right through. As it fails, as he drives it, you're actually pushed back a few feet, and I need you all to roll for initiative. Athora?
21.
21. And Tix?
8.
8. You would think that you would go last, but you would be wrong. Because he does not. As he shoves it into you, you see his hand rot. You see his face melt away, leaving a decaying, rotting corpse. Something between a zombie and a skeleton. Its eyes are not glowing baleful blue. They are simply rotted out hollow sockets. And it is howling with deadly laughter as it is trying to kill you. But Athora, you get to go first.
Woo! Alright, let's hit him with my sword.
Okay.
Ooh, that's nice. 26 for the first hit.
26. And Athora, tell the listener what type of sword that you have.
I have a two-handed sword.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice and big and heavy.
Yes, it is. You are a powerful fighter. A lot of just average fighters would have a lot of difficulty wielding a two-handed sword, but you've trained with this two-handed sword, and you strike true. Roll your damage, please.
14 points of damage.
14, as it just, that shoulder area, even though it's armored, he's wearing like very patchy chainmail with a helmet and gauntlets, and you just bite right through that rusting chain right into the shoulder. Your sword almost sticks in there. As he is clearly undead in some fashion, he does not react, but you know from experience that is how you destroy an undead, is to defeat it in that method. Tix, it is your turn.
I have a second attack.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I apologize. You are absolutely right with your, it almost sticks, but it doesn't. As you yank, and muscle and gristle come out as you attack again.
13 to hit.
13 does not hit.
Ah, man. Okay.
What was your first strike? Your first to hit?
26?
Yeah, okay. That was. I didn't even pay attention to it because it was so high. But no, 13 unfortunately doesn't. Your thing just sticks just a little bit too long in that backswing, and he's able to move slightly. He is not slow, I should say. And Tix, it is now your turn.
Okay. Tix is going to use his first attack, and he's going to use Smite Evil. And swing away with Destiny Seeker. And that is an 18.
That will hit.
Okay. That is 10 points of damage.
Okay. Describe, what does that look like when you do that?
Okay, so he's been hit in the chest with the spear, and it has forced him back, and he uses the momentum to unhitch Destiny Seeker from his hip and spin around and swing towards the guard's hip with full force and just come straight across in a nice clean arc to hit him with the Destiny Seeker.
Yes, and that absolutely hits true, and you can feel Destiny Seeker just sink in, and Destiny Seeker, as always, speaks to you, now speaking to you in the voice of its defeated former master, and says,
Yes, sadly he has no blood for us to drink, but we will defeat him.
Yes, we will. And now for our second attack. That is a 24. So that hits. And that is 9 points of damage. Is he more than halfway through his hit points?
Yes. Yes, he is.
Okay, then there is 2 more points of necrotic damage that are inflicted by Destiny Seeker.
He is immune to necrotic.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But good. I'm glad you remembered that, because I sometimes forget.
And because Tix is enraged by both the sneak attack and that the child's life is at stake, he will use Axe Frenzy. He gets that once a day to get a third attack.
Nice.
It's +1 on the attack, but he'll get -4 to his armor class in the next round.
Very nice.
And that is a natural 20.
Ooh.
Which puts it all the way at a 28, if that mattered. So that will be triple damage. So you want to triple it all, right?
That is the way it works. That's the way we do it in my homebrew.
Okay. So base damage was 11 plus 4 with bonuses. So that's 15. So triple would be 45 points of damage.
My goodness. Let me do a little quick math here. What general area did you strike him?
So with the first attack, he came across swinging from left to right across the belly. And then he brings the axe up and strikes straight down on the second attack and comes down across the chest. And for the third attack, he steps forward and swings up from groin to gullet. And bisects him right in half.
And you felt this before, that Destiny Seeker, it likes armor. It's like, yeah, bring it, armor. And just like it just bites through the armor and cuts and cuts. And you actually, like an anime character, like he literally collapses in on himself. That you have disconnected essential things to keep him together, even though the spell animating him is still keeping him going. Like his body is no longer working right, and like half of him, it's like you just cut the entire middle, and he just sank into himself. He's almost now on your level.
Right.
It would be funny if it wasn't so disgusting.
Yeah, I'm going to have to polish Destiny Seeker later.
As the gristle and gore just come flying every which way, and he. From the DM's perspective, he has 2 hit points left. I normally don't say that, but that's what I mean by how catastrophic your damage was. He is going to swing around with his spear. That is a 25. For you, Tix, I should say.
Okay.
So
that definitely hits.
That will hit. And I'm going to go ahead and roll. Okay, he did not get double damage. That was good. But his next one is 18. So that will not hit.
It will hit because I'm at a -4 because I'm
the plus
used
4. Yes,
Axe Frenzy.
very
So
honest of you. Very honest
That hits
of you.
by 1.
So that was good. That was a 1. So he does. Oh my gosh, basic math. He does 19 points of damage as
Ouch.
he just strikes, and he's just flailing with this spear. And you've never actually fully committed to an axe frenzy before, and you haven't quite recovered your balance, and he just brings in and just stabs into you. And he's raising up the spear over his head now to drive it into your skull. And Thora, it is your turn.
All right, let's stab him again. Oh, wow. That's an 8.
That will not hit, but you do have a second attack.
That's a 12. Oh, wait, sorry. Nope. 17. Got it.
17 will hit.
Okay.
You're lucky he has terrible chainmail.
13 points of damage.
13 points of damage. So Athora, this weird, badly damaged magical skeleton has just slashed into, or struck into Tix with the spear twice, and is now raising it over his head to bring it down on Tix. Describe to me what it looks like when you kill him or destroy him.
Seeing as he's about to bring the spear down, I take my sword and quickly slash him in an anime style, and he stands there for a second, and then he just falls apart.
That is exactly what happens. What keeps these things together is magic, and when you damage it enough, the magic can no longer do so. And he looks at you for a moment, and then the jaw just sort of slides down and falls off, and the rest of him just collapses.
Woo!
Excellent. Glad he's dead.
Yes, or more dead.
More dead.
Defeated.
Re-dead. Unanimated. Tix is going to use his healing not his spells, but his healing to heal himself for 8 points of damage.
Okay. Is that just automatically 8?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Because I do need to know if any of your heals require a roll, please tell me.
Yeah.
Because it might have to do with a certain ability you have gained.
Okay.
But anyway, you do regain 8 hit points as you feel your wounds close over. Y'all are now standing before this stone wall with an iron gate. I'm sorry, with an iron door before you, and the ruined skeleton in shambles before it.
So I am going to search the skeleton and see if I can figure out what we're up against.
Very wise. You do not find any sigils of the that you found in the first adventure. As I said, its eyes were not glowing. But you do find just a pouch, like you would any guard, which has 37 gold in it. Most of it in silver, but the equivalent of 37 gold. In addition to that, you do find an iron key.
Okay, iron key and 37 gold. I ask if Thora is all right, and take the key and find the gate, the lock, and unlock it.
You put the key into the lock and turn it, and the magical trap goes off. No, I'm just kidding. There was no way for y'all to look if there was one. You turn, and while it definitely protests, it does eventually click.
I should have brought some WD-40 with me.
It would have been very nice to have. Y'all have any oil? You can oil can it.
All right. I light a torch, or is there light in the tunnel?
As you open it up, you weren't quite sure what to expect when you opened this. This whole thing is just very strange. Literally, as you walk through the entranceway, it feels darker, which is a weird thing to say. It feels more oppressive. But the inside looks like the waiting room of a wealthy to-do person's home. Probably not a castle, but like a rich lord. This looks like an antechamber. It's slightly hexagonal shaped. There are various kind of moldering furniture around, and there is no obvious place to go from here.
Oh, really? All right, so I want to search the room.
Okay, and let me know, both of you, what is your deal in regards to dark vision or low light vision?
I have low light vision.
Okay.
So I can see.
I have dark vision.
So you are both able to see. There does appear to be a faint luminescence in here. It's very dim, but like you can tell that the way you can tell is, especially with dark vision, is you can still see colors. When your dark vision is fully kicked in, you only see black and white. What I would like you to do is to make a spot check for me.
All right.
Both of you, if you don't mind.
9.
That is
9.
25 for ticks.
So, Athora, you become... you're looking about, and something keeps drawing your eye. It's a portrait on the wall. And there's a figure in the portrait. It's just like a classic, rich lord painting. But you can't make out the features on the painting. It's like, you would almost say it was blurry, but it's like your mind won't lock on to the picture. And as you watch it, it almost seems like it's changing and changing and changing. And then Tix says, "Over here!" And you kind of start, and then you look back again, and the portrait is now just a moldering skeleton. And it definitely wasn't before. It was just an indistinct, human figure before. But Tix, you have found a door that is essentially a hidden door. It's not like super secret. Like it's not like, kind of like that panel y'all went into to go underneath Loft's house. But it is made to match the rest of the wall. But with your careful inspection, you find the line, and you can find a sort of door area. A door knob, for lack of a better term. It's like a pressure area that you can push in to open the door.
Excellent. So, is there anything else in the room that might have caught my interest? Any ornaments? Any books? Anything left in there by the inhabitants to...
There are several books on a very small bookshelf, like almost ornamental. Like you've never actually seen one that small. And they are, for the most part, completely rotted away. You do find one that's a history of your world. Like a sweeping history of the area that you're from. And one thing that you actually do see is a mention of the wizard Bigsby. I always say that wrong. Is it Bigsby?
Yeah, I think it's Bigsby.
Yeah, we're going to say
We'll go with
Bigsby.
that.
Yeah, you do see a mention of Bigsby and several other, famous adventurers from the past. But there's nothing really that jumps out at you as like, this is a clue. And as with her, you do look up. When you look up, the painting that you see is literally the painting of a skeleton.
All right. Athora, are you ready to go through the doorway?
Sure. Do we want to stealth our way through, or...?
Well, that was probably a good idea, since our friend Distant Bells is not with us.
And
I guess we're gonna have to do some of the stealthy work ourselves, only until we get in and find who has taken the child.
Okay. So when you open this door, I would like you both to make a move silently check.
Silently.
28.
Okay.
Yeah. 11.
Well, Dex is your lowest one. It's okay. It's a running joke on the show. And which of you is going first?
I think the fighter will go first.
And you have learned to work with your armor. That you are not silent when you're wearing armor. It's just not the case. But you have learned to walk as silently as possible in your armor when you try. And you push open this door. It opens inward, and there is a fairly large, maybe like 40 feet across. The last room was sort of almost hexagonal. This room is almost circular. It's a round room. You think maybe it's sort of like a dance area, something like that. And this room also has a series of portraits up. There's very fine carpet all around, except on the edges. The edges is like polished, very highly polished wood.
Okay. Any other doors? Anybody in there?
There are no doors, and there are no windows.
So, I'm going to search again to see what I can see.
Oh, I also forgot one thing. Your armor, anytime that you want, you can become a light source now.
Oh.
All you have to do, and I'm going to say, because I forgot to tell you that, is you didn't quite realize it until that moment, is you can actually just touch the holy symbol that is set over your heart, and the armor will faintly glow. It is not super bright, but it will illuminate a 20 by 20 square foot area.
Yeah, with low vision, that's more than enough.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. So,
even though it is not, like, say, going to damage undead, it is a radiant energy of your god, and signals that to others.
Sounds fantastic. I will let it glow and say, if only Penton could see me now.
It is very Penton-like as you make your way in, and as it glows, you look down and you actually see that the carpet, the very fine carpet, that's not just a pattern, there's actually blood on the carpet.
Is it fresh blood?
No. It is very old, or at least relatively old blood. It is caked and dark, which is why it was not immediately obvious what it was.
That's a deep relief.
But it does seem to be relatively concentrated in one area.
Well, let's go over and investigate that. Let's go over and I will do a spot check on that one spot and see if we can find anything. See if I need to cut up the carpet or if there's a hidden trapdoor or something. And that is a measly 11. Again,
11.
With an 11.
Okay.
That's a modified 2.
So, with the modified 2, you, of course, are very carefully examining this blood stain. You would, just to make yourself feel better, you would have needed to roll very high to have noticed this. Because you could look at the blood stain all you want, but you would needed to have rolled very high to have noticed that the blood stain came from something that had dripped from the ceiling. And you would have needed to have seen the corpse that was hanging from the ceiling. And the corpse reaching up and grabbing and pulling on a chain. And the floor opening up beneath you. Like your favorite ticks to make a reflex saving throw.
Natural 20!
Ooh! That
Straight
is very
5.
important. Sorry, what did you get?
5.
5.
So this is your chance to kill ticks.
Yes. So there are 10,000 spikes. No, I'm just kidding. And what I'm going to say is it's because you were so focused on here that you didn't notice the floor giving way until it was too late. You are just falling, however, but you do not fall onto spikes. What does happen, and what was supposed to happen to you, Athora, is there is a sarcophagus below, and you, boom, fall right into the sarcophagus. It is big, which is how you're able to fall in it fully, and the lid slams shut on you. Athora, you see that there are several sarcophaguses below, and you are falling towards one as well. However, you rolled a 20 on your reflex saving throw. So describe to me, Athora, as you fall, how you managed not to fall in one of the sarcophaguses.
As I'm falling, I see the sarcophagus down below, and I'm just able to use my sword to push me out of the way to where I can land on solid ground. That's not a sarcophagus.
Okay. I would like you to make one other roll now. Trying to decide the best way to do this. I think a reflex saving throw actually is probably the best one. Give me one more reflex saving throw.
That's a 21.
Okay. So your push off, you do actually chip your sword. It is actually damaged.
No.
Which, however, just so you know, if you'd rolled low, it would have broken.
No! That's bad.
But it is damaged. I do want you to know that. Your sword is now damaged, and depending on what happens in the rest of this adventure, could actually break. But you do not fall into the sarcophagus. Hicks, you
Let
take...
me out! Let me out!
Exactly.
Let me out!
That is exactly what is happening. I cannot tell you how fortunate you are of this terrible roll. Tix, you take 3 points of falling damage, and Athora, you take 1 point of falling damage. That is. I almost could not have rolled lower than that. So, Tix, you did at least manage to brace yourself as you were falling. So,
Brace
question
myself with my head.
So the sarcophagus is big. It is meant it's meant for a normal sized human. So, it's more than twice as big for you there, and then it's even bigger than that. Like it's meant to be like ornamentally big. So you can't quite stand up, but like you can kind of crouch up.
All right.
And and of course, the last thing we said was that your thing was glowing, so you can see inside. And you joke about the "let me out," but both of you hear a voice in your head. And I would like you give me just a straight intelligence roll, Athora, with any bonus you have to intelligence.
18.
18. You hear a voice, and it says, "This will be your grave." And Athora, suddenly, it is 10 years ago, and you are 13 years old. And the Craxidor bandits are taking the food from the silo in your village that's going to keep them from starving in the winter. And you are calling out and begging them. And they're saying, "Hey, we're leaving you alive. We're practically good Samaritans." As they ride away, and you see the head turn and smile, and it's the leader, Oliver Black Eyes. And you recognize his voice. That ghost that y'all defeated, that's his voice.
And ghosts just don't know how to stay dead, do they?
Well, that's the thing in Dungeons & Dragons. Sometimes they don't. And Tix, something begins to, I think the right word would be ooze into the cracks in your sarcophagus.
Oh, that's not good.
And I would like...
I don't like oozes. No.
I
No.
would like you both to roll for initiative.
13.
Athora? 13 for Athora. Tix?
4.
You are just having a time.
Dexterity-based thing. The dice hate me on dexterity-based rolls. They bless me on wisdom, but man, the fact that you lean on dexterity-based tests is going to kill Tix one of these days.
Well, some of the really bad guys have willpower saved ones, so you'll enjoy that. Something, and like I said, your light is on, so you can see. There are several small cracks at different areas. You're sort of roughly in the center, and none of them are there. Something green is oozing into the sarcophagus. There are scattered bones in the sarcophagus, and as they ooze in, they flow over the bones, and they flow over the skull, and a extremely vague humanoid shape begins to form at the corner. I would like you to make a dungeoneering roll, please.
Dungeoneering.
Mm-hmm.
That is... Let's see. Dungeoneering.
Oh, wait. I'm thinking of the wrong system again.
Yeah.
So this would be knowledge, and I...
Knowledge nature, knowledge... we'll go with knowledge nature.
Yes, I will allow knowledge nature.
Okay, so that is a 16.
16? Okay. So with a 16, you don't have a lot of specific detail. However, you believe that this is a certain kind of ooze known as a graveyard sludge.
Graveyard.
And while you do not know much about it, you know that it is, like many oozes, acidic.
Well, it's either die by ooze or die by flame, so I am going to strike a torch using my flint, and do my best to cover my mouth with my shirt, pull my shirt up over my face, half my face, both set the ooze on fire and possibly weaken the sarcophagus.
Okay. And I believe that, Athora, you actually will go first. So you don't... give me a quick spot check, Athora.
Okay. That's a 20, not natural.
20 not natural. So one of my things in life, this is like not D&D, but in life, but I apply this to D&D as well, is if something is real, then it's real. So I told you that this ooze is oozing in the thing. That means it came from the outside, and with your high spot check, you of course were focused on the sarcophagus, but you notice that this ooze is slowly oozing its way into the sarcophagus. So you see that happening. You don't know what it is, but you assume it's not good. So you can either try to open the sarcophagus, you can try to attack the ooze, or you could do something completely different. You are very strong, so it's up to you what you would like to try and do.
Let's try and open the sarcophagus and see if that does anything.
Okay. So I'm going to need you to make a strength check.
All right.
It's not a saving throw. This is using your strength bonus.
Cool. 18?
18. So it is so massive that even though you plaque your arms on the side and your muscles just band and cord, and you're able to kind of like shift, but you are not able to fully get it off. However, you do have 2 attacks if you would like to try again.
Yeah, we'll try again, because would a grapple work to pull it off?
A grapple would work. That would require going to the other side and pulling, but you succeeded. It's just so big. It's, this is a giant, it weighs hundreds of pounds. It's a giant stone sarcophagus, and the lid is, huge as well. So you succeeded, you just couldn't in a single go fully push it off, and especially not with an 18, even though the 18 succeeded.
Because my grapple check is so much higher, so I was...
Okay. Well, you can, for your second move, you can try to quickly move over and try to do that.
Let's do that.
Okay. So I'm going to have you do a grapple, but I do want you to make one quick reflex saving throw.
Okay.
And tell me what that is.
12.
12. Okay. So you do spin around and get to that, but as you do, some of the ooze splashes against your leg, and you aren't quite able to get out of the way. However, you are very glad that you wear your partial plate as you do, as it hits against the plate and spits and burns against the plate, the kind of shin guard area that you have, and it protects you. But you can tell that's not good. Now I would like you to make that grapple roll.
23.
23, and you come on to the other side. You push, and you're like, this is working, but it's not quite working fast enough. You skip around. The sludge is kind of starting to move towards you, but you dance around, just taking that hit. Fortunately, your armor takes it. Your fingers dig into the old pitted stone, and you just and you come within inches. I'm not going to make you roll again, but you realize, like, as you're pulling this off, you're like, oh crap, the thing is going to come down on me, and you kind of skip back, and it falls down with just a boom. And as you do, this thing just rises up from the sarcophagus above Tix, and it has this, again, vaguely humanoid form filled with bones. Glowing, not really glowing, it's really more like internal light from Tix's light as it's swaying around. And it actually goes next. It actually rolled terribly too, but it rolled better than Tix. It is going to try and slam you, Tix. Oh, and it rolls really well. Gets a 25. I think that will hit.
Yeah, that will hit.
Yeah. unfortunately, it rolls really well. So it does 14 points of bludgeoning damage and 6 points of acid damage. So you take damage from the pure force of this fist, this kind of pseudo fist coming down, and the skeleton inside giving it a little bit of structure just whams into you.
So 12 and 6?
12 and 6 together, yeah. Add those together.
Okay.
And let me double check.
I'm at 51 points.
That's enough, apparently. It is your turn, Tick.
I guess Tix is going to first try Destiny Seeker and swing at it and see if that has any effect on it.
Okay.
And Tix rolls a 16.
16 will hit. Its armor class is not that high.
Okay, good. And so Destiny Seeker bites in for 10 points of damage.
10 points of damage. It recoils from your hit, but it does not, it's an ooze. It's not that intelligent.
Okay, and I'm not going to use any touch-based attacks.
Smart.
So imagine that. I guess I will swing away again with Destiny Seeker.
Okay.
And that is an 18, which counts as a critical now. And so, okay, 9 plus 6 is 15 again. So that is 45 points of damage.
45 points of damage. Dang. You've done 55 points of damage to this ooze, and you literally just cut a huge section of it, and like part of a rib cage goes skittering across the floor. You do notice, because you know how oozes can be, the separated parts do not. I mean, they sort of like jitter, but they don't form into a different ooze and attack you. It does appear to damage it. And that will actually bring it to Athora.
Would Ray of Frost do anything to, hold it still? Would it freeze?
You do not know. You are not familiar with this creature. I will say you do think it's an ooze. You don't think that it's undead. Many undead are immune to frost. Also, another thing to remember is your Ray of Frost is a bonus action.
Okay.
So you can do it on top of your attacks once a day.
Let's do that. Give it a shot.
Okay.
17 to hit with my sword.
Okay, that will hit.
13 points of damage.
13, okay. As you slash in with your sword, and again.
13 to hit.
13, unfortunately, will not hit.
Okay, now let's do the Ray of Frost.
Okay.
Do I add anything for it's the attack bonus, correct?
It's your straight attack bonus, yes.
Okay. That will be a 16 to hit.
That will hit.
Alright. D8. Those are D10s. One moment. I have 2.
Okay, they do look very similar.
I didn't have any D10s out, I don't think.
I don't think y'all don't have any dice, do you?
Just a few.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love
We're actually at a deficit now, so we definitely need to buy more dice.
Absolutely. If any of you dice makers want to sponsor us, I will say wonderful things about you. So just putting that out in the world. All right. Roll that damage.
13 points of damage.
So y'all done 81 points of damage to this ooze. Now, oozes are not intelligent. So, like a creature would either realize how much damage it had taken, try to run, or change tactics, or change people hitting it. But an ooze is an ooze. And so it's going to continue to attack you, Tix. However, even though it's got that sweet plus, nope, it gets a 13.
Yay!
It rolled a 7. So it totally whiffs. Tell me how you avoid getting hit by a giant sludge thing that's filling up the sarcophagus that you're in.
Tix is backstepping quickly to the other end of the sarcophagus and hooking the bill of Destiny Seeker over the edge and using it to propel himself and lift himself over the edge, kind of like jumping a fence.
I love it. Everything is a fence to jump when you're the size of Tix.
That is true.
But you do successfully, nimbly skip out of the way as this disgusting thing is coming for you. And that will bring it to you, Tix.
Okay. Tix is going to use his first action to strike a torch.
Okay.
And so you want me to roll for that, or is it just...
Yeah, rolling, that is, to light a torch is a full action.
Right.
Okay.
So he'll use that as his first attack, is to light the torch, and that is a 16.
That will succeed.
Okay, and for his second attack, he will jab the torch into the ooze.
Excellent.
And that is a 19.
19. That will hit. So roll that damage. And I would like the fire damage, and I would like you to double the fire damage.
Okay. So that'd be a d6, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So unfortunately, that is only 6 points of fire damage.
Okay, but it does recoil. Obviously, we know that oozes don't actually have vocal cords, but you can almost psychically hear a from it.
It won't be able to regenerate, so...
That's true.
I want to make sure that this is not a regenerating ooze that will give us constant problems.
That will bring it to you, Athora.
Let's stab it with my sword and see if that does anything.
And by the way, when you froze it, that part just turned to like a chunk of ice, icy ooze, and fell off. So it was effective.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a natural 20 for my first attack.
Natural 20. That
nice.
is going to definitely hit. Roll that damage and double everything.
28 points of damage?
You bisect it. The parts that vaguely had legs and such. Even though it is not intelligent, it has something about this. There is a magical element to the oozes in D&D, even though they are not quote-unquote magical. But it vaguely is, representing a human, and you just cut the lower half off, and it jitters, and the upper half is now like arm over arm coming towards y'all. You very badly hurt it with that, but you believe you have another attack, don't you?
Yes. So this one's an 18.
18. That will hit.
Which, for my sword, because I took the ability, whatever it was called, and 17 to 20 are critical hits with the sword.
Yes, that is correct. So that is a critical hit. So double the damage.
24 points of damage?
Describe to me, Athora, what it looks like when this half an ooze with the skull bobbing up and down and the two arm bones, inside the pseudopods, is oozing toward. It's still coming towards Tix. Already did a really strong hit against him, and he's burning with acid. How you destroy it?
With my sword, with my 2 attacks, I slash it twice, and by bringing my sword through, I manage to slash the skull in half. And then it just disperses and falls apart and is dead or gone.
Is exactly what happens. And y'all, one more time, you both hear the voice of Oliver Blackeyes, the Craxidor bandit, who has become a hunger ghost. And he says,
"Oh, that's a shame. But never mind. Won't you both join me for dinner?"
And that's where we'll end. Chafing Armor, episode 124. Thank you both for playing.
Thank you for not yet killing us.
You took some pretty good hits there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tix is feeling it.
But y'all are very, very powerful. This is I'm this particular one that I'm looking at is from a different system, but it's a 4 challenge rating, 126 hit points. I mean, this in the wrong circumstances that will do in an adventurer pretty quickly.
Right.
And y'all took it down. Y'all took it down hard. So very impressive. One quick thing, Athora, I would like you to make one more reflex saving throw for me.
Okay. 15?
15. Okay. Your sword Tix, your axe Tix is magical. And magic weapons are special. They are not invulnerable, but it's very often the reason you find magical items in a dungeon is because everything else is rotted to dust. But your sword is not magical, Athora. And when you look at it, you do notice that it is now pitted with acid and has been even more damaged by your battle with the graveyard sludge. Just keeping that in mind. If people would like to hear more of this wonderful adventure, where's the place they could go to do that?
Your favorite podcatcher. So I do it through Apple Podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube.
You absolutely can. We actually have a lot of listeners on YouTube. One of our oldest and best fans, our wonderful Duke, who may be listening right now, I think originally found us on YouTube. So if that's how you listen to podcasts, we want to accommodate. You can go there. And both of y'all, if people would like to see some of your artwork and some of the stuff that y'all work on, where's a good place they could find that?
You can find me on Instagram at DareImagine.
You can find me on Instagram. I'm One Princess Beast on there.
With the number 1.
Mm-hmm. And I will have links to both of those in the show notes. You can go to chafingarmor.com if you want to see those links to there. But thank you both for playing.
Thank you for not killing us.
I'm working on it.